Let's see what kind of train it is. Oh, it definitely is not an Amtrak train. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy crap, 5 locomotives.
The Silver Dasher.
Morning. It is Tuesday. I'm in my car and I'm going to get ready to start a morning dash. So I got the app right here. Let's go ahead and get started. It says it's very busy. All right, my ending time. Yes, I do have an insulated bag, and what's going to happen, I'm going to have to take a picture. Oh, I had 10 straight deliveries with 100% order accuracy. Ooh. So, all right. Oh, there we go. Take screenshot. All right, not too bad. Well, we're off to McDonald's. Slightly over water. It's not underwater. It's like $7 for 5 miles. But hey, breakfast, take what I can get, because I usually on average about 4 offers in the morning. So, all right. Hopefully this is a good start. So on to McDonald's and then the customer. See you in a little bit. You're a pretty one. Look at you being pretty. Look at you. Well, I just delivered that McDonald's to a repeat customer, and they had a kitty cat in the window. But unfortunately, I am stopped by the train. I don't think it's an Amtrak train. Well, I may be wrong. Here it comes. I can hear it. Let's see what kind of train it is. Oh, it definitely is not an Amtrak train. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy crap, 5 locomotives. This is gonna be a long ass train. Yep, there's a long end. Look at all this, carrying those stacked containers that came off a container ship. All from China, probably. But interesting, when I just delivered that order, the app is slightly changed now. Last night, they now have the flash offers now enabled, because then you can adjust the timing of when the flash offers are available for you. But the other thing that they changed, and this is following this Walmart Spark idea. In Walmart Spark, after you do delivery, you can skip the step, but they ask you the questions: how was the delivery? What was the did you have to type in a code to get to the house, or was it in a house, an apartment type thing? But here, as soon as I delivered, it says yes or no. How was the delivery? Was it good or bad? I said good, or you had to skip. And that was it. So they're trying to follow, Walmart Spark. They're probably just trying to get some demographics about what's going on. Yep, long ass train. When you see 5 locomotives pulling a train, this is going to be a long ass train. And it's nothing but containers. Usually you see like a mixture of rolling stock on trains. Sometimes you see just box cars, or sometimes you see like these, the container stock. But you see some other lately I've been seeing like take screenshot. Well, just in time, too. It's slightly over water, but I just picked up a Bojangles. So, yeah. So that's where we're heading. Bojangles and then the customer. See you a little bit. Well, I just delivered that Bojangles order to another repeat customer. In fact, I've been to that house at least 4 or 5 times. They have a farm, and it's a very, very nice house, and it looks like an acre. It looks like there's a lot of dairy cows, or either that, or there may be just beef cows. But yeah, I'm back in the similar area where I got stopped by the train. Hopefully I don't run into another train. But yeah, once again, the app, as soon as I finish completing the delivery, asked me the question, how's the delivery? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I just said thumbs up. That's all it does. So, don't know what that does or how it affects your delivery or your metrics. So anyway, so heading back to, I think I'm going to head back to Jack's, but it's a little far away. I got to weave through downtown. School traffic is now involved. The buses are coming out. In fact, I just passed. If you remember the fiasco of the customer that changed their delivery address, and then the app just went to La La Land after that, and I had to go through the rigmarole trying to straighten that out. Well, I just passed where that was. That's at the local city school bus garage. So I just passed that, and there's buses going in and there, going this way and that way. So a lot of bus traffic right now. So going to probably go back to Jack's and see what happens. But like I said, for there, I was in back to back. But now, so anyhow, all right. Heading back to base. Hopefully I get an order real soon. So I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I sat at Jack's for about 15 minutes and finally got another order. Back to Bojangles we go. The order is, let's see. Is it,
Head east on 9th Avenue toward Martin Street North, then turn right onto US 231 South, Martin Street North. At the light, turn right onto US 231 South, Martin Street.
Slightly underwater. 721 for 7.8 miles. But, breakfast is slow. I've only had 2 orders, and I got an hour left in my dash. So this market's tough. So on the Bojangles and then the customer. We'll see in a little bit. Well, the Bojangles order just became a stacked order. Just as I'm getting close to Bojangles, another order popped up. So now I got 2 orders I got to take care of. So on the Bojangles and to the Tubble customers. See you in a little bit. Well, finally I dropped off both of those Bojangles orders, but I was getting pissed off. The app on the first drop off would not take the photo, would not accept the photo I kept trying to take. It refused, and because it refused, I could not go any further. I cannot go to the next task. And so it kept saying, you must have a door frame in the photo. Well, hell, the drop off is in a doctor's office at the reception desk. But the app showed a sample photo, and it was a bench next to a window. Well, hell, that was down the hallway. So I took like 5 or 6 photos, and it kept saying, nope, retake, can't accept it. And then luckily I got a message that the customer was going to meet me at the door. So I was at the reception, so I picked up all the food and went. And sure enough, they were there. I said, well, let me take this photo right here on this bench to match exactly what was in the app. I put the food on the bench, and then it finally took. You know, so whoever started the photo for this location, for this, you know, that's where you got to go from now on. The app will not allow you to take a different photo, even though the person tells you to go to a certain area. You know, you have to take it exactly where the app tells you the photo, so the photo matches, and you cannot get around it. You're stuck. You can't change your task or anything like that. So that's a major problem. So, man, that pissed me off. So, at least, hopefully, it didn't delay me on my second drop off. But yeah, that's a major bug. You know, I've had something similar to happen where I took a photo of a door, you know, the front, but it didn't quite match. The door was, and wound up being, I was at the front door, and whoever did it last time did it from the back door, even though the instructions of the customer in town go to the front door. And there it says, are you sure you're at the right place? And I said, yeah. So, but I didn't get that option this time. So, man, that made me mad. So anyway, I got 30 minutes left in the dash. It's cold. It's 38 going to the car, but not a cloud in the sky, and the sun's out. So hopefully with this it'll warm up a little bit. So with the 30 minutes that I got left, I think I'm going to head over to Jack's, park there. I'm hoping to get one more order before the dash is over. So either way, I either go to an order, or I'm heading home and give a summary. So whatever happens, see you in a little bit. Well, I just signed off there. I did pick up a small underwater order, but it's to Chick-fil-A. And the reason I took it, because, you know, I'm down to 25 minutes left of my dash. And I said, before the Bojangles order, I was sitting around 20 minutes waiting for an order. And then according to the app, it says, you know, it's going to be up to 15-minute wait for the next order. So when this popped up, I said, well, let's go ahead and take it, and then and that's going to be it. It's going to be in the dash. So anyway, yeah, I can hear now. You did what? You told her you're losing money. Yeah, you know, but you know, when make a little money or just sit on my ass not doing nothing and not making any money. So anyway, on the Chick-fil-A and then the customer. See you in a little bit.
Hey, that ain't going to one try.
Well, I just dropped off that small Chick-fil-A to the same house as a repeat customer, but I think it's a different customer. I think this house has is been converted into 2 apartments. Normally, if y'all remember, I've come here several times to the gentleman that has a carpet cleaning business. But every time I deliver for him, he tells me to go to the behind the house where the black car is, and on the porch there. And there, and oop, take a screenshot. I'm going to take that one. Let's see which way to go. I apologize. All right,
Head southeast.
it's making me go that way. Anyway, what happened was, that's the Starbucks order I'm going to. Yeah, slightly underwater, but you know, I had 15 minutes left on my dash, and I need the money. And there was, let's see here. Let's take a look at the picture that I just took. Yeah, $7 for $7.21 for 7.8 miles. Slightly underwater, but yeah, I need the money. So this house, I usually take it to the back porch, you know, but this time, and I said, I recognize that address, but this time it told me to deliver to the steps that's inside the carport. That's where that black car is. And I said, oh crap, is it going to make me do the same thing as before, where if the picture does not match, because the picture in the app is where I used to deliver for the customer with the carpet cleaning business. But this one was specific. Stairs, there are some brick steps inside the carport. And so, but lo and behold, it took. And I know it was the right place, because just as I was getting in my car, the customer came out and thanked me. Thank you. So, you know, and it was a young lady. And so I'm thinking that house is split into 2 apartments, with the carport entrance as one entrance and the back porch entrance as the other entrance to the apartments. That's my theory. So repeat location to a second customer, I believe. So anyway, I'm making my way back through town, but this is what the app tells me to go. I could have gone the interstate way, but I'm following what the app tells me to do. So if they tell me I'm late, nope, I followed the app. So anyway. Oh, I take it back. It's not. I apologize. It is not a Starbucks. It's a Bojangles. I apologize. I don't know why it's Starbucks. Man, this is the 3rd time I've been to Bojangles today, this morning. So, Bojangles hopping this morning. So, all right, on the Bojangles and then the customer. See you in a little bit. I was right. I pulled up the wrong picture. It is Starbucks for $5.17 and 6.3 miles. It's one of those, you know. It's been a strange morning. At least with this order, this will make me at least a decent morning. So this is definitely the last dash, and you know, I got 4 minutes left on my dash, but I'm gonna pick up the Starbucks, not Bojangles, and customer. Strange morning. All right, see you in a little bit. Well, I just dropped off that Starbucks order to a new business that I've never been to, but to an old building I've been to many times. A little strip mall where the Great Wall of China and the Papa John's Pizza is located. So yeah, but I went ahead and into the Dash. It miraculously added 30 minutes to my dash time. But looking at the summary, it's one of my better mornings. Even though, I took a couple of, underwater orders, but it wound up being pretty decent for a breakfast dash. I'm hoping this lunch dash goes really well. Because I definitely need to have a few good days. I was supposed to dash yesterday, but unfortunately my wife needed help so I had to take her to work. Unfortunately for her, work is an hour and a half away, so that was a 3-hour round trip. Taking her there, and then actually more than that, it's 6 hours, because I had to go take her to work, come back home. So that's total 3 hours. Actually 2 hours and 30 minutes. Then I had to go later on go pick her up and bring her back. So that's about 5 hours total. So heading home. I'll give a summary of this morning's dash. Like I said, it's not too bad. And then going to take a quick break, have some lunch. I think the kiddies may want a snack when I get home. So on to home, and then give the summary. So see you a little bit. Well, I'm home. It's been a very interesting morning. Had that trouble with the app. Oh my God, trying to get a picture. But let's go ahead and get a summary of this morning dash. So I made a total of $35.36 with 6 offers or 6 deliveries, and a total dash time of 2 hours and 30 minutes. So yeah, those 2 extra, on average for me, breakfast, I only usually just get 4 orders. So granted, that I picked that last one that I thought, was a little, that was underwater. But then I picked up, first the Chick-fil-A and then the Starbucks. And I said, what the hell? So I'm glad I did. So it's a good start for the morning. So hopefully better luck with the lunch dash. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break, go and have lunch, and then we'll start right back up here in a little bit. So see you in a little bit. Welcome back. Getting ready to start a lunch dash. I'm a little bit behind. Getting late started. But let's go ahead and start the app. Let's see. Do we get something picked up right away? Yeah, we did last time. So, all right. So, yeah, that breakfast dash was better than I thought. And, $35, and six offers. I usually get only 4, So that's why, I took those slightly underwater ones. So anyhow, lunch dash, off to my normal parking area for lunch is Cracker Barrel. Let's see if we can get an order here. So see you in a little bit. Well, just as I was getting close to Cracker Barrel, I picked up an offer from my favorite Asian restaurant, Oishi Asian. My wife loves that. She loves the egg drop soup. But I went and took it. It said it was a high-paying offer. It's $12.63 for 15 miles, but it says it's a high-paying job, guaranteed, including tips. So I thought high-paying jobs were over water, not underwater. Who knows? But since, I've had problems recently when I get started on lunch dashes, I take 30, even 40 minutes before I get my first offer. Plus, this is over $10. And that's hard to resist, because $12, on a good day, that's 2 offers, normal offers, like around $5. So anyhow, so on to Oishi and then the customer. See you in a little bit. All right, doggies, you get out of the way. I just delivered the Oishiation to an area. I've been up here. I'm up in the hills. Not quite deliverance country, but I'm up in the hills, and delivered to Oishi Asian food to a young lady, and I assume her mother or grandmother. And a big old dog, but he was a happy dog. He was a happy dog, and she said he loves people. I got to pet him. So if you're a good doggy, maybe you get some Asian food. But yeah, he was big. He was a part bull, part mastiff, part lab. So he was a mix. I heard that the what they call the Heinz 57 dogs. They make the best dogs. Anyhow, so slightly out of zone. I am west of the city. Making my way back. Like I said, I've been up and down this road many times. So I've seen there's some nice houses out here. There's not so nice houses out here. But you know what? I guarantee you there's no HOA out here. So anyhow, making my way back to base. Hopefully I get another order, but almost $13 for that. I'm not gonna say it was high paying. But over $10, that's kind of hard not to take, especially in my market. Now I've seen other YouTubers who do DoorDash, Uber Eats, they said $10 for this. There's no freaking way I'm going to take that. And I've seen the comments, you shouldn't take that. Like I've repeated before, come try to do your strategy out in the market, where I live. Pickings are slim out here. I'm going to be honest with you today, but for the past few days, this is going to sound strange. It's almost like I'm the only DoorDasher out here. And the reason I said that is when I first started doing DoorDash, I would see all kinds of DoorDash people, like the young lady I mentioned before who was taking care of her grandfather. It's been a while since I've seen her. Now, the last time I saw her, I believe it was at Wingstop, and she said her grandfather was ill, and so she was out of the loop for a while. But I've maybe seen her one time before that, but I haven't seen her in a while. And another gentleman, Nick, who had 14,000 deliveries when I talked to him last. He also, I haven't really seen him. Of course, Nick, he dashes 24 hours, it seems like. He hoofs it. And he told me he was a former truck driver. Now he does nothing but DoorDash. But yeah, I'm going to be honest, for the past several weeks now, almost a month or two, I have not run into any other DoorDasher. I used to run into a lot, so it's just probably, coincidence and circumstances and stuff like that. So anyhow, getting back on the interstate, heading back to base. So hopefully I'll pick up another order here real soon. So see you in a little bit. Well, I picked up an interesting order. I am doing a shop and deliver to PetSmart. And so I looked at them. It looks like, you know, 2 different items. 2 bags of cat food. So that's on to PetSmart we go, and then the customer. See you in a little bit. Well, that was a pleasant surprise. I delivered the cat food to a repeat customer of mine. This is the second time I've been out here. It is the last time I was here, I delivered a food order to a lady. It's a husband and wife. It's a business printing, especially printing. You know, they got printing presses and laser printers and all that kind of good stuff in there. And I noticed, you know, on the side of the house, you know, it looks like a restaurant. I just out of curious, I said, "Is this also your private restaurant?" Yes, it is, because they had 2 puppy dogs out on the side, and she explained to me that, you know, they wanted to start printing business, and that building used to be a boat repair shop. Hence, there you see these huge garage doors. And they said, the funny story was that she said she stood upstairs, you know, they got like an upstairs office or something like that, looking out the window, and said, "There's no way we can fill this up." And I said, "I bet you now you don't have enough room." She said, "Yeah, now we need more room." But that's really convenient, you know, to have your private residence built-in house built into the business. Man, it's like, you know, you can't get more perfect than that. And it's out out here in the farmland, cattle farms out here. In fact, I just passed my first. Remember, I told you one of my first deliveries and breakfast. I was out there in the farmland. I'm on the same road, and I just passed that house. But yeah, she's a very nice lady, and her husband was over there working on printing. But yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. So anyhow, working my way back to base. Actually, I'm south of the city. Thinking about instead of going through. No, I think I'll go through the city because I'll be hitting the middle of the gauntlet. Let's see what happens there. So, anyhow, oh yeah, and saying I'm approaching the railroad crossing where I got stuck on the train this morning. So, excuse me. So, but no train this time. So, let's head back to base through the middle of the city. Hopefully, middle of the gauntlet. Hopefully, pick up an order. So, see you in a little bit. Well, I didn't make it very far. I just picked up according to this, another high-paying offer. I'm heading to Great Wall of China Chinese food restaurant, takeout actually. It's like $7 for 5 miles. It's in the same shopping center where I went delivered to that salon, and they're right next to Papa John's. So that's where we're heading. So anyway, so this is quote 2 back-to-back quote high-paying jobs. So maybe things are looking up. So on the Great Wall and then the customer. See you in a little bit. Well, I just dropped off the Great Wall of China food to the local CVS. In fact, I delivered to one of the ladies that always gets my medicine, or when I come for my wife's medicine. You know, she's a very nice lady. So just as I finished dropping it off, ding, 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 got another offer. I'm going to Little Caesars. So it's been a while since haven't been to Little Caesars. So it's like almost $6 for 3 miles, something like that. So anyway, on to Little Caesars and then the customer. See you in a little bit. Well, I just dropped off that Little Caesar to another repeat customer. Like I said, that person's on the 3rd floor of these apartment complexes. When I saw the number 311, I said, oh God. So anyway, well, I delivered it, and I very specific instructions. Once you deliver, knock on the door, which I did. But I also picked up another order, so I'm going to Sonic. But also, as I was going up the stairs, this young lady come down. Said, oh, you're doing DoorDash too? I said, yeah. I said, you? Yes, yeah. So don't you do Uber? I said, no. Well, I told her, well, there's somebody that looks just like her that I saw the other day that was doing Uber. She kind of smiled and laughed at that. So anyhow, I got to get myself turned around here and head back that way and get ready to do Sonic. So that's where we're going. So on to Sonic and then the customer. See you in a little bit. Oh, look at the kitties. Look at all the kitty cats. Look at all the kitty cats. Look at all the kitty cats. Well, that was a little harder to get to than I thought. And the reason being is app has it at the wrong location. Man, there's all kinds of kitty cats around here. Met the lady, she came to the door, and the instructions, you know, to leave it on the grill because she has bad back, she can't bend over. But since she was there, I just handed it to her. But the app says I'm in the wrong place. So I had to tell her, no, your app's wrong. So confirmed that I did deliver to the customer. But I got to pet a kitty cat while they were eating their din-din. But yeah, that's the. It's been a while since I've had that problem. So anyway, I'm going to head back. I think I'm going to head back towards McDonald's. This has been a somewhat of a busy day. Haven't really had an all in the action, not too much. I think the most I ever waited, I think was this morning, was about 15 minutes. So, but watch what happens now that I said that, I probably wait 30 minutes before I get another order. So I just got a little over an hour left in my dash. I said it's been surprisingly decent. Let me see. Yeah, surprisingly decent. Got quite a couple of those high-paying jobs, but they were kind of like, really? The mileage is higher than the dollar, and that's a high-paying job? But I took it. So, anyhow. So I think I'm going to head to McDonald's. See if I can pick up a quick order over there. So, anyway, on to McDonald's and hopefully get another order real soon. So, see you in a little bit. Well, I just pulled into McDonald's. Then I picked up an order for Subway. But the thing is, Subway is next door to McDonald's, and I did not feel like driving out to the road, go down 10 feet, get on the intersection, and turn around. So I just grabbed the bag and walked across the parking lot and into the Subway. So now I got the Subway order, and now I'm heading toward the customer, which is just right over here. So see you in a little bit. Well, I just delivered at Subway and was not very far. It's just the old neighborhood right behind. This is the neighborhood I mentioned that it's an older neighborhood of the city, and then they're slowly renovating. I just passed the house there, redoing, and the house I just delivered to looks like they had looks like a fairly somewhat new fence. It's about a year old because it's already faded with pressure treated wood, and then there's a lot of other houses, and you can tell they've been recently renovated. But so yeah, I got about 50 minutes left in my dash, so I think I'm going to try to head over to Cracker Barrel, see if I can get something over there. But yeah, it's been slow and steady. When I arrived at McDonald's, I probably waited maybe 5 minutes, and then I got that Subway order. So, according to this estimate, offer time between 2 and 8 minutes, but between you and me and the fence post, that's not accurate. So, anyhow, it's starting to get late in the day, but it's actually starting to get warm. According to this, it's 55 degrees. So I might have to take off this jacket for at least that last hour. So try to be a little bit more comfortable. But it was cold this morning. So anyway, here we go. Uh-oh. Take screenshot. I'm inclining that one. $2 off. $2 for 2.8. That means there's no tip involved in that, so I'm not taking that. See, look, I actually declined an order. Even though it was 2.8 miles, $2. No. I'm gonna be honest. If you live that close to Little Caesars, you can go get it yourself. So, anyhow, well, on the Cracker Barrel base, and hopefully I get a better offer than that. So, see you in a little bit. Well, after 30-minute wait, I decided to move over to McDonald's, and as soon as I got in the parking lot, I picked up a Little Caesars. This will be my last dash of the day. It's $11. Let me see here. Yeah, almost $12 for 8.6 miles. I'm heading to Lincoln with this. So, and I've got 15 minutes left in the dash. So yeah, this will be my last dash of the day. But, almost $12. I can't refuse that. It's 8 miles. So anyway, like I said, I was in the McDonald's parking lot. I was sitting there at Cracker Barrel, and I said, man, 30 minutes, still nothing happening. So anyway, about to hit Little Caesars and then on to the customer. And we'll see you in a little bit. Well, I just dropped off that Little Caesars pizza to a dance studio here in actually here in Lincoln. Bunch of little girls and their teachers, they're getting ready for the Christmas parade tonight. So they were having a pizza party. So they saw me walking up with the big pizza box, and boy, they got all excited, you know. So yeah, gosh, man, Christmas parades. Been in a few. All through my high school, except for my senior year. All through high school, I was in the marching band, played trombone. Played 1 year at Sachs High School in the marching band. Now, I was in band since 6th grade, but I didn't do marching band until I was a freshman. Wasn't been a Christmas parade then. In fact, and then Dad went to I think I mentioned before, he went to the Sergeant Major's Academy in Texas. And he got reassigned to infantry. Now, up until that time, he was military police corps. And the military police corps in the United States Army is a very small branch of the military. It's like, and it's so small that, you know, practically everybody knows everybody, you know. And my dad was a command sergeant major, and all the sergeant majors knew each other. When my dad was in the Army, Fort McClellan was still a military base, and that was the home of the MP school. It was also home of the chemical school. Then, unfortunately, politics get in the way, and they closed down Fort McClellan, and they moved it up to, I think, Missouri. Both the chemical school and the military police school. Killed the community in Anniston. Killed it. Still hasn't recovered. The government gave all the land of Fort McClellan to the city. Problem is, parts of our Fort McClellan became a super site because it was a chemical school, chemical warfare. And it made sense that the chemical school was there because also in Anniston, just a few miles away, was the Anniston Army Depot, which still exists. Anniston Army Depot was famous for holding the United States chemical warfare arsenal. I think it was one of 3 arsenals in the United States. And then they, through treaties and all that, they start dismantling, destroying the chemical weapons. And it took about 20 years. And they had a full-blown, they built a facility to, you know, I think it was nerve agents and stuff like that. But then eventually finally all the chemical weapons were destroyed. And then the Anniston Army Depot is now, I think, the only place now where they refurbished the Abrams tank. You know, the United States, from what I understand, has not built an Abrams tank in 20, 30 years. We take the old bodies, strip them down, refurbish them, and reattach new parts to it. And so the Abrams is totally refurbished at the Anniston Army Depot. So I think that's still the case. But as far as Fort McClellan, there's a small portion of it that's set up for National Guard. But, you know, there's a humongous number of retirees around Fort McClellan. So, you know, they lost their commissary privileges, the PX privileges, because it all went away. And the closest PX, I think, was Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery. That and Redstone Arsenal up in Huntsville. About the closest thing. You know, my parents would once a month make a pilgrimage, so to speak, to Huntsville, go to the commissary, and where they go stock up on coffee and other essentials. yeah. But when they moved to MP school, they killed it. We lived in. I went to school. This is in the early mid 70s. 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79. 79 was the year I was in the freshman marching band. But vast majority, most of the kids that went to the school I went to were all military kids. But yeah, when we had a good football team. That's Sachs High School. But yeah, when they closed the fort, they killed everything. But now, in the neighborhood where my parents lived and all that, that's that town. I'm sad to say, Anniston is dying. Oxford is growing. Now, Oxford used to be a little sister to Anniston because Anniston had the fort, but now Oxford is got the shopping. It's right on I-20. Got all the shopping centers, all the restaurants. They got everything now, so they're beating Anniston to the punch. Problem is, there's really no industry in Anniston. I think there's there used to be a brass foundry. I don't know if it's still there or not, but there's, and then the next town further up, Gadsden, used to have a Goodyear plant. Well, they closed that down. So Northeast Alabama, not doing too well. So anyhow, sorry for the long story, but when it all got started by the Christmas parades, but after 79, Dad got reassigned to infantry, so we went to Fort Benning, Georgia. We lived one of the part of a duplex, single house, but two houses attached to each other, and we had a corner lot, which my dad liked, and we were right across the street from the jump school. The Fort Benning, is where he does Green Beret training, Rangers, and first of the paratroopers. They still have the jump towers. The jump towers there, I think, were originally used in a World's Fair in 1932 or whatever, in the New York, one of the World Fairs early in the 30s, and they repurposed them. There's 3 of them. Well, they still, at the time we were there, they were using 2 of them, where basically they pull you up and they drop you, parachute and all, and so you learn how to do parachuting. And Fort Benning, in that area where the jump towers are, is also famous. A lot of movies were made there, war movies. John Wayne's Green Beret was entirely filmed around Fort Benning. In fact, all the the Vietnamese village and all that was out in the woods in Georgia. In fact, if you watch that movie and you look like you see the helicopters flying over supposedly jungle, all this is the southern pines of of Georgia. and then the air base and all that, that's all at Fort Benning. And then another movie that was made famous is We Were Soldiers. Mel Gibson. Very familiar with the houses that that were filmed where they lived. One of my dad's friends, he lived in one of those. He was in charge of the guest house. He was also a sergeant major, but he was more into food services. So he kept track of they always had a house there for visitors, VIPs and all that. He was in charge of that house. But that street is very old. Fort Benning is very old. The houses there where the officers live are Spanish style, and so yeah. And then but then the open fields are up there. So in fact, if you remember the scene where at night where they start gathering before they're getting ready to leave, first you see Mel Gibson's character, and then you see other characters. Well, that is right next to the jump towers. That's a huge open field, and the buses that's all from there. And then another whimsical movie that was made in Fort Benning, Georgia. It's one of my favorites. Is James Gardner Tank. It was one of my dad's favorites because James Gardner played a command sergeant major in that, and it had Shirley Jones. But that was also filmed in Fort Benning, Georgia. But yeah, a lot of fond memories of Fort Benning, Georgia. And then, I went to the school there. The land was donated by the military, and they built a high school there where all the military kids go. It was Spencer High School. But we were bad in football. I marched there for 2 years. And first year I was marched, we didn't have uniforms. We had t-shirts and blue jeans, because there wasn't money available, and so we did fundraising and stuff, and then we eventually got our uniforms. They were nice. We were all white with yellow escons. Man, there's a million people in line here. But so done many Christmas parades there too. But then my dad got orders to go to Germany, and the high school I had there was very small. I was in a graduating class of 6 people in my senior year of high school. So yeah, that was tough. That was tough. So anyway, trying to get myself home, but the traffic is horrible. By the time one end clears up, I can't get into the other one. So finally. So anyway, sorry for the long-windedness, but the Christmas parade, kids doing the Christmas parade got me started and going down the rabbit hole of me talking. So, plus this is school traffic that's causing all this backup. So, anyhow, well, going to head on home and then give a summary of today. So, see you in a little bit. Well, I'm back home. It's been a long day, very interesting day. Had a decent morning, and this afternoon, except for towards the end, it was just kind of steady and kept on going. Met a lot of, delivered to many repeat customers, but then around 3 o'clock, it just died. Until I finally picked up that Little Caesars order around 2:30. So the summary for this afternoon, I made $59.91 for 7 deliveries. One offer I declined. That was at $2 Little Caesars. But yeah, most of these were, 3 of the 7 were over $10. So yeah, not too bad. But yeah, today was interesting. It was cold this morning. Finally, it warmed up to 55 degrees this afternoon. So, anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me today. It was sunny all day. If you like this video, I urge you to select like. And if you enjoy what I do on these deliveries and talking to the customers, basically my adventures and misadventures here. So I urge you to subscribe to the channel, and so you can be notified of the future videos. So anyway, I'm going to call it an evening. I'm going to pack up. I'm cooking hamburger helper tonight. Cheesy macaroni, I think is what it is. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will do this again tomorrow. So see you later.